And then moving on, this fight against Adrien Broner. Now that was the best build up to a fight I've seen in years. If people haven't seen that fight, please go onto YouTube and watch those fucking press conferences.
They
They're the
really
best.
dropped the ball on me and Adrien, because they should have made a trilogy with me and Adrien. Because I tell you, I thought I won the first fight. I really think I would have won the second fight if they would have done it, and we would have had a trilogy. But we wouldn't have had just any trilogy. Me and AB would have had the trilogy. Me and AB would have had a trilogy that is like talked about in boxing history. I'm telling you. Me and AB would have been like Zale Graziano.
If you would
like
have won that fight.
I'm not kidding. Me and AB, each and every. Can you imagine 3 promotions with me and AB and the trash talking that would have happened, and then the fights all competitive? Like I am. It is probably one of the bigger disappointments of my career that we didn't get. They didn't give me that rematch, and they took them in another direction. And then it all just fizzled out, because we would have had a
kind of not exposed him, because Adrien Broner is a great fighter. He is a great fighter.
I think Adrien was always a good fighter. You know where the problem with the overrating thing comes in is because they thought he was Mayweather, and there's only one Mayweather. But just because you're not Mayweather doesn't mean you can't be world class.
Yeah,
and just because AB's not Mayweather doesn't mean he's not a great fighter. You know what I mean? And that's the once you put the comparison to Mayweather in there, you're always going to be disappointed. So people are always disappointed in AB's talent, but in reality. If you look at AB and you eliminate the whole Mayweather comparison, and you look at AB just as a fighter, it's a very good fighter, you know, and obviously he's shown that and proven that. But he's also a big personality. So me and AB with the promotion, he's a talker, I'm a talker. I mean, it would have been.
I remember you were telling him
I don't know how they made that. I don't know how they let that slide. I do not know how they didn't. They let that ship sail. I still can't figure how stupid. This is what I'm saying. This is what I mean about you can be smart. You can be a businessman. You can be well schooled, all this shit. And it was right. The writing was on the wall. Wow, these guys were made for each other. Me and AB were made for each other. Me and AB were made to fight each other. Me and AB were made to trash talk each other. I didn't think I could have that much fun through a promotion at that age anymore. Like he made me feel like a kid again. You know what I mean? He made me like, man, this guy gets under my skin, but man, this is great. You know?
The story was behind it was that Adrien Broner was seeing a girl that you had a previous encounter
with this chick. And
encounter with.
You know, this was a little bit of a weird chick. You know, you get your weird chicks and you get your normal chicks.
Jessica.
Yeah, Jessica was her name. And so you get your weird chicks and you get your normal chicks. You know, unfortunately, I'm not saying unfortunately, like, I'm going to say, like, it's funny because I've been watching the James Bond movies. I've been sort of like a James Bond, man. I've never really been a one-woman kind of guy, you know, and I'm trying to work on that because I really don't think it's good to do as you get approaching 40 years old. So I never really was the kind of guy that, like, said, like, okay, you're my girlfriend. Like, I was always the kind of guy that, like, you know, I made a lot of friends, and, like, when I would see you, we'd hang out and I'd show you a good time, but then I'd go about my way and you'd go your way, and that's it, because I'm out of town a lot, I work a lot, I fly around a lot, so I never really took the time to make a particular girl my girlfriend for too long, you know what I'm saying? So Jessica was kind of like one of these chicks that, you know, I met her out in the club, and it was, but then she got kind of weird. So
it was a smash and grab kind of thing.
It wasn't like a one night stand, you know, but it also wasn't like a chick that I was talking to every day, like your girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like that either. You know,
when you were in that state. That was the phone call.
Because if you will remember, I was actually living in Los Angeles at the time anyway. So she was in New York. I was living in LA. It wasn't like I was with her, you know. So when I would go back home, yeah, she was a chick that I knew, but I knew a lot of chicks in New York. So it wasn't even necessarily that I'd always see her. I probably hung out with her like a handful of times. But whatever it was, she ended up making like she was pregnant one time. And I'll be honest with you, it did scare me because the only time in my life that a condom broke on me was with this girl. You know, so the only time it never broke on me. So when it happened, I did get kind of paranoid. And then, like, she was kind of weird, so I kind of like ignored her, deaded her. I never, again, if you're not dating somebody, you don't break up with them. You just kind of like stop talking to them. You know, you phase them out. I call it phasing you out. You know, because if you're a girlfriend, okay, you know, you have to have a conversation. You got to break up. But if you're not a girlfriend, you kind of just get phased out. So, shit, sometimes I get phased out. I'm not gonna phase me out. You know what I mean? Like, that would happen. But nonetheless, it was, I kind of tried to phase her out, and then all of a sudden she starts popping back up and sending me messages. You're fucked up. You're ignoring me. And then she started making like she was pregnant. So once she made like she was pregnant, I'm living in Los Angeles, bro. Like, I have a pregnant chick in New York, and I'm in Los Angeles. Like, that's a problem, you know? Like, so it took me a couple of months to realize she wasn't pregnant, but she was just kind of stringing it along, you know?
Kind of, yeah. Those type of girls, you'd know. Keep them away.
And then after that, like I just kind of deaded it again. Like that was it, you know? Like once you're not pregnant, you're going back to where you were, which is phased out.
She's the type of girl you block on WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything, all of them, the whole lot, everything. Your iPhone.
But you know what? I don't even block you. I just don't ignore it. I just ignore you. Like I actually get a kick out of it if you keep messaging me and I don't answer you. Like
blue tick in the Monday and blue tick in the red.
I like to see it. I don't know if it means my ego. I like to see it. So I don't really block people. I just don't answer them. And if I don't recognize the phone number, I won't answer the call just in case you're calling me from numbers I don't know.
At the press conference, I remember you saying to Jessica. I remember Jessica. If you was dating me, what's my mother's name? Tell me my mother's name, because if I was dating you, I'd introduce you to my mom.
Yeah, of course, because that's kind of how I separate a girl when she's more serious. I'll let her meet my mother. You know what I'm saying? Like she's not more serious, and it's kind of like whatever, you know, like, or I'll at least bring my mother up in conversation, you know, which never happened. But anyway, I didn't see her enough for that to happen. But whatever. Once I had phased her out, somehow I guess, you know, because she was all over social media, this chick. She was like a social media groupie, you know, which I've had plenty of those too. But so I guess I don't know, somehow she got in touch with AB and whatnot. And suddenly me and AB are going to fight. And so, I mean, it had literally been a couple of months since I had ever even spoken to her once I figured out everything was fake. And then all of a sudden, like, AB brings her up and I'm like, yo, this chick again? Because, yo, she don't go away, this girl, you know? Oh and God. So when I started talking, I think I made a mistake in the first press conference, because when I started talking, I thought like I was making a joke out of it that people would laugh about, you know? Like it was more like,
and then it kept coming up.
And then instead, the media was like, oh, he answered this, like he responded to this, so it must be serious. So
it's the best press conference. It really is. It's the best press conference I've seen for years.
You know what? I look back on it, we the trash talking me and AB had was like different level. It was like next level. You know what I'm saying? Like it was
when you said to him, you said
even the second press conference. I mean, there is no one that can out talk me and AB. Like that, I really am convinced that's another reason why Conor McGregor never fought me. I would abuse him. He's such a shitty trash talk. I would abuse him. You cannot match wits with me when it comes to trash talking. AB was close though. AB was good. But in the end, I even think I won those trash talking battles too in the press conferences. You know, like there is no one that can out talk.
You said to Adrien Broner as well, we'll quickly get to that, but when you said to Adrien Broner in that press conference, even Richard Schaefer was trying not to laugh. I saw his face. He was trying not to laugh because you said to Adrien, who saw it when Adrien Broner arrived here an hour early and pretended he was late? I was dying with laughter, and then he started with the Floyd stutter, and then you just abused him, and that was just, he didn't know what to say. He didn't know what to say.
I was on the way to that, because remember, the second press conference was in New York because it was fight week. So
yeah,
I remember I was driving on the way to Barclays Center, and my friends were already there, so they called me. They were like, yo, AB's outside, AB's here, you know? So I was like, all right, I'm stuck in a little bit of traffic. I'll get there soon, you know? And I got there, all of a sudden, this guy's not there. Like, and he didn't show up till late. So obviously I called him out on it because they had seen him like an hour prior. He was already there, you know?
Yeah, you told him. But